Thanks for watching another video on self-talk. Today's is a little bit out of the sequence of self-talk videos that I planned, but at the time of filming we are in the middle of a pandemic. So COVID-19, which is one strain of the coronavirus, has gripped us all globally, and I felt that it was really important at this time that I address the self-talk that people are engaging in around COVID-19 and the dangers and the risks associated with that. So before I do that, I just want to make a couple of points and illustrate that with a question. Who has ever received or sent, a text message out and seen that it's been read or seen and then heard nothing? There's been no reply. Can you click the like button if that's you? So I've got an idea of how many people have experienced the feeling of what's going on. I've sent the text, they've read the message, they've not replied, which means that they either don't like me or they're thinking of a really important response, or we go down a rabbit hole of, oh my goodness, this is clearly what they're going to do. This is, I'm going to get dumped, or I'm going to lose my job, or somebody thinks less of me, or the list goes on. The reason that happens is because our brains are wired for explanation. It's our brain's job to keep us safe and to protect us. So when there are occasions where there is no explanation or things are unfamiliar, our brain does the only thing it can to keep us safe, and that is to create an explanation in the form of a narrative or a story, which is what our brains love. Our brains love a good story. So that's what we do. And we tell ourselves anything, and that can be true or it can be false. Our brains don't know the difference. Our brains just accept that as fact to almost make us feel more comfortable. Which makes sense if you think at the moment, everything that was familiar and safe in our lives, so the routines that we had, the jobs that we had, the social gatherings that we were part of, all of those things that our brains knew, trusted, found easy and comfortable, and our brain could just chill during that time, okay? All of that is gone. All of that has changed. And in its place is uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen next. And when our brains have an element of no direction or no explanation, that makes room for doubt, which then leads on to fear, because doubt creates danger in our brain. And that's where the fear kicks in. And I remember when the pandemic first exploded globally, I remember saying to Andrew, my partner, I think people's fear is going to cause more damage than the virus ever will on its own. And that is what's happening at the moment, because we just don't know. And because we don't know, our brains are creating lots of different scenarios simply to prepare us and simply to help us. But unfortunately, it doesn't always help. So the sort of things that I am hearing my clients say as a coach on self-talk are things like, I might contract COVID if I go out of the house, or I might contract it if I go to work, or someone might cough on me, or I might die. Okay, so that's at the extreme end, but there's a whole range of fears that people have very naturally at the moment around COVID. So what I wanted just to touch on today is one technique that I am working with my clients on called fact versus thought. So what you have to do as part of that process is to identify all the thoughts that you're having. So write them down on a piece of paper, all the thoughts and fears that you have currently around COVID-19 and the pandemic that we're experiencing. And then next to them, it's really important that you look at the facts. So let's take, I might contract COVID as an example. So we have to look factually at how accurate that statement is. Because yes, obviously there's a chance that anybody could contract COVID-19. But also there are factors like the R level being below 1, which means transmission is now much lower than it was several weeks ago when people were infecting 3-4 people at a time. Social distancing is in place. So we've got those sort of measures. Now I know people are very nervous around social distancing because people can come into their personal space. So something else that you can do is to, if you wanted to wear a mask, that's absolutely fine. I choose not to, but lots of people are choosing to wear masks. So that's one measure you can take. And then hand washing. So if we are regularly washing our hands, that massively reduces the risk of catching COVID, and we're not touching our face and our mouths and rubbing our noses too much. And also, statistically, COVID is on the decline. So we are, particularly in the UK at the moment, we are sort of seeing figures fluctuate slightly, but they are going in the right direction. And I know globally, we are seeing a decline, albeit slight, in the numbers of people contracting COVID and certainly dying from COVID. So what that exercise does is it reassures our brain, and it actually fills our brain with facts opposed to the thoughts that we're having around, I might die, I might contract it, I might die, I might bring it home to my family. And yes, those are possibilities, but actually in the factual, statistical world and the realm of probability, if you are taking measures to protect yourself, the chances that you would contract COVID are quite low right now. This isn't to say that you have to go out there and put yourself in risky situations. I'm not advocating that at all. And a little bit of fear and preparation is healthy. But when we get to the point where that fear is preventing us from doing things or enjoying life in the way that we want to, that's when we really have to look at the things that we are telling ourselves, because those thoughts then go on to feed the feelings that we have, which then impact the decisions we make and the actions we take in life. And the only person that can actually address those thoughts is us, is ourselves. So I just wanted to give you that technique, which is facts versus thoughts, to jot everything down and to actually look at the facts that support and go against each thought. Because what you'll find is the support statement, so I might contract COVID, well, yes, you might. Okay, there's no getting away from that it's out there in the world, and there is a chance that everybody could contract it. However, when you look at the statistics and the measures that people are taking and putting into place, it makes you realise that actually, statistically, that's quite unlikely at the moment. If you do that for every thought that you're having, then what you will have in front of you is evidence to calm yourself, to calm your brain, and just to reduce those anxiety levels, because our brains go into fight or flight mode. You're telling me we're in danger. You're telling me that I've got to be prepared to fight this virus or to flee and to run away. And actually, when we can look at the facts, it calms our brain down slightly, and it gives us a framework and another sense of familiarity. So there are other aspects that I'm working on with clients around measures they can put into place, going back into the workplace, in the home, nipping out to the shop, things like that. So if there are any questions that anybody has, please pop them in the comments below, and I could create another video to address them. But just for today, I wanted to reassure people that the fears that people are having, by and large, are based on stories we are telling ourselves. So I hope that's kind of given you something to think about. If it has, and you've enjoyed that, please do subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be sharing more videos to help people to identify their self-talk, to challenge those self-talk statements, and to actually move through them and find the happiness and the success that we all deserve, both personally and professionally. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please do subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to giving you some more content soon.